Let me guess, you're watching this because every day you feel exhausted when you know that you shouldn't. You're sleeping, eating decently, but still you go through the day feeling like a zombie, crashing as the day goes on. And those crashes come at those times when you need to be your most energetic. You'd love to find a way to get back to the vitality that you felt when you were a kid, when you had energy to burn all day long and it felt like it would never end. The good news is that you're not alone. In fact, over 60% of Americans feel like they're not fully rested as they go into the day. Think about that. That's 6 out of 10 people who don't feel like they have the energy they would like to have. A quarter of respondents even said a lack of sleep contributes to poor decision making. With all of these negative impacts, it's no wonder that 64% of respondents said they have trouble sleeping when their daily routine is thrown off. The surprise is that this is not just happening to people in their 60s and 70s. This is happening to people who are in their 20s, 30s, and 40s as well. And it's not just tiredness that's the issue. It's this feeling of being drained both physically and emotionally. This leads to more serious problems like feeling anxious, fearful, and mildly depressed. I'm here today to ask why, and of course give you some strategies that are working for me to get over this feeling of being drained all the time. These are simple ideas and habits that I believe will give you the edge if you choose to give them a try. And it goes without saying, if you feel like your mental health is suffering right now, please do contact a professional who can give you the help that you need. After watching a lot of content about this problem and trying out a lot of different strategies, I can tell you that having energy comes down to a few key ingredients. The right amount of sleep, a solid balanced diet, moving your body consciously, surrounding yourself with positive influences. There have been many times in my life when I did not take this seriously. Remember when you were a kid and you could eat whatever you wanted? You could also sprint at a moment's notice and you'd always have energy. Until recently, if I had to sprint at a moment's notice, I'd have to lie down, and I'm still working on that one. You see, you can't treat these things as nice to haves. As you get older, these things that you once took for granted become absolutely critical to your well-being and your mental health. In reality, they were always important and they were the reason you had so much energy. But in the pursuit of careers and making a good living, we get wrapped up sitting around making other people money. I wasted so much time trying to game the system. I looked into workout programs that involved no cardio or effort whatsoever. I didn't bother with conscious movement and mobility. I drank excessive amounts of caffeine and expected to sleep well. I fueled my body with junk food, and I watched the news every single day. I was treating my body like the DeLorean, filling it with food scraps, banana peels, and leftover beer. By 11 a.m, I'd be sitting in my car doing some business calls and honestly feeling like I had to go to bed. I got to the point where I actually thought I had some kind of medical condition that prevented me from having energy. I searched for sleep supplements that would help me sleep better. I bought focus supplements that would help me focus better. And I collected diet hacks that would allow me to eat junk and somehow feel good. This led me down a pretty big rabbit hole that ultimately brought me to the promised land, which was do the simple things right and everything falls into place. Yep, sorry, no magic here. It's 7 a.m. The kids wake you up. You get their teddies together and slump downstairs. You put on their favorite cartoon with a really annoying theme tune, and you feel like death warmed up. So you reach for the coffee pot. And it feels good. The warm coffee, the beautiful scent, the buzz that you get when you take a sip, and the energy that follows is equally amazing. You feel on top of the world for about an hour, and then it's like Mike Tyson punched you in the face. At one point, I was drinking a large coffee, 2 energy drinks, and a bunch of tea throughout the day. My daily intake of caffeine was outrageous. You see, the difficulty with consuming so much caffeine throughout the day is it actually makes you tired. Think about it. Caffeine comes into your system, gives you a boost of energy and focus. You feel great for a little while, but then the effect starts to wear off. Your body wants to normalize and feel energetic, so what does it do? It asks you for more caffeine. This eventually leads to a crash, leaving you feel absolutely exhausted. Caffeine in coffee blocks the brain's adenosine receptors from receiving adenosine, but it doesn't stop the actual production of adenosine or the ability to form additional adenosine receptors. This means that when the effects of caffeine wear off, there's a buildup of adenosine wanting to bind to its receptors. This can lead to tiredness. And everyone is different. We all process caffeine differently. For me, I can only have a maximum of 1 coffee per day. Any more than that, and I'm going to struggle to sleep at night. I felt the effects of caffeine in my muscles as well. I actually went to see a kinesiologist who said that caffeine makes me hypertonic. This caused me to be in a state of constant tension. I mean, try this right now. Focus on your body and look for areas that feel tight. I guarantee you're likely feeling tense in one or more areas of your body right now. That's requiring energy to stay tense. And that's part of what's going to make you feel tired and drained. Something that I recommend you look into before bed is to get a solid stretching routine in place. This is going to reduce that tension massively before you go to bed. Conscious breathing is something that continues to have a profound influence on my life and my well-being. I'm a massive fan of the Wim Hof method, and I highly encourage you to take a look on YouTube and try it out for yourself. Some people suggest that nose breathing is better than mouth breathing for this, but as Wim Hof says, whatever hole you got, get it in that way. By reducing tension in my body, I've been able to create a solid sleeping pattern that starts at 10:30 p.m. and ends at 7 a.m. whenever Harvey, my 3-year-old, comes in to wake me up. Oh, and on the way to bed, try to not look at your phone screen an hour before bed at a minimum if at all possible. And use blackout blinds if you can get them to totally darken your room, and set an alarm for the latest you can get up the next morning. We do all this to enable our body to get in touch with its natural circadian rhythm. Now, I'm not an expert on this, but I can just tell you from experience, it helps massively. We already talked about tension, but if there's one thing that's going to make you feel extra tense, it's surrounding yourself with negative influences and shocking news headlines. I got into the habit of reading the news every single day recently, and the negative impact on my mentality was truly incredible. I could start the day with perfect sleep, coffee, and then I'd read a headline that derailed me, making me feel anxious, fearful, and uncertain. As Tim Ferriss said in the 4-Hour Workweek, if something big happens, you're going to hear about it anyway. So tune out of all of that and focus on what you can control. I promise you, it's going to give you a lot more space in your head to enable you to go after the things that you want to go after in life. I recently watched a video from Matt D'Avella who talked about decision fatigue. This is a big one, so check it out.
On average, you make roughly 35,000 decisions per day, like deciding what t-shirt to wear, what breakfast to eat, and what YouTube video to watch.
If you and I can reduce our decision making by even a fraction, the compound effect on our mind and on our energy is huge. Imagine every day you had 50 small decisions that you could get rid of. Things like what you're going to work on, what you're going to eat, who you're going to speak to. In a year, you could have eliminated as much as 18,000 decisions you're currently making right now that you could put on autopilot. You can do the smallest things in this area, like wearing similar clothes, eating similar things, and planning it out, and the effect is huge. I spend a lot of time during the week sitting at my computer, speaking to the team over Zoom, and of course, shooting these videos. It's a lot of sitting around. One of the big changes I've made recently is using these earphones while I'm working. I'll go for a walk when I'm doing a lot of these different calls, and I'll use the earphones as I'm walking around. This helps me increase my movement a lot because I can do the meetings while doing my walk. Every day I try to hit 10,000 steps or as close as is possible to that goal. Another thing I'm testing at the moment is this idea of doing small workouts throughout the day. Right now I'm trying to do 40 push-ups, so that's 10 sets of 4. I'm looking to do that 4 to 5 times a day. That's going to be 160 to 200 push-ups every day or every other day. Over the course of 365 days, I would do 73,000 push-ups in a year if I was to do 200 a day. I'm testing this as well with stretching routines to see if I can make massive changes by putting in these small, easy to implement steps. The more I move, the more I feel capable of taking on bigger challenges in my life. And as Eric Ed Mead says, your body deserves to move, so give it the movement that it deserves. Now, to finish out this video, I'm going to talk about a part of my life that is getting better but is absolutely not perfect at all. I mentioned on a recent video that I'm part of the Wildfit program. This program has taught me the benefits of adding in more of the good stuff rather than only looking to get rid of the bad stuff. The program teaches you to eat more vegetables than you've ever eaten in your life. And the easiest way to do that is by adding a green juice drink to your morning. I drink cucumber, celery, spinach, avocado, and lemon juice first thing in the morning, and I look to do it again throughout the day, another 1, if not 2 more times. By taking care of the 6 hungers that we all have, and by improving my nutrition and my hydration, my desire for sugary things has come down significantly. All of this has led to more energy levels and a bigger ability to take on those bigger challenges. And it's been a fantastic addition, and it makes sense, right? If you fuel a car with beer, it's not gonna go far. You've got to give your body what it needs so that it can perform at a higher level. It's simple stuff, but it absolutely works. And you don't need to be perfect like all the health gurus tell you to see a major difference. Obviously, perfect would be amazing, but if you're anything like me, you're not perfect, and that's okay. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I'd love you to take a look at this one right now. It's gonna teach you how to get out of your comfort zone and start living the life you wanna live.